there's some places, say the Dakotas, where it's flat and you just got a lot of wind. But you may not have a lot of customers. And so the question for wind power and solar power and a lot of these renewable energy industries is, if we're producing the energy one place, how do we get it to another place? And that's why this whole concept of a smart grid is really important. And a smart grid is just a fancy name for a better electricity grid than what we've got right now. Because the way it works right now, we've got this patchwork of all these different electricity grids and connectors, and there's all this leakage, and a bunch of it was created, decades ago, so it's not particularly efficient. And so the idea of a smart grid is, if you can hook up a national electricity grid that is state-of-the-art, and it has switches and computer monitors that are able to help regulate the flow of electricity to the places that need it when they need it, then you can save huge amounts of electricity, which means that your bills are lower. It means that we have to produce less energy per household or per business, which means we're sending less pollution into the air, whatever form of energy we're using. It means that renewable energies like solar and wind now have an advantage, because you can get them from where they're being created to where they need to go. And because it's more efficient, there's less waste, so you can actually store wind energy even when it's not windy, or solar energy even when it's not sunny. So this is a huge and important project. It turns out that the challenge is not so much a money issue. When you said appropriations, the question was, is Congress going to put a lot of money into building this thing? It turns out actually that you could probably get a lot of private sector dollars to invest in a smart grid. The big challenge is actually all these different zoning laws, because people don't want transmission lines, et cetera, in their vicinity, and each state and each local government has its own control about siting issues. And so you've got this patchwork instead of one national concept. So what I've been trying to do, and this wouldn't cost a lot of money, is just to get governors, mayors, county officials, federal government, all to sit down and figure out, how can we get this done? How can we get this done? And it may start just in certain sections of the country. So you'd have a smart grid in, let's say, the upper Midwest, and then you'd have another smart grid in the Northeast. And you kind of build these bigger patchworks, and then you kind of stitch them all together at the end. We should be able to get this done, but it's going to require some organization, and it requires cooperation from each of these different units of government than we've got right now. All right? Okay, and if you want to be a TV commentator, you let me know.